Southern California, yeah.
Born and raised our DNA, laugh and cry to what we say. We hit you with that wordplay.
4053.
What episode are we on? D, they feeling like they be zombies, all dressed in Abercrombie.
SoCal DNA coming in live, 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night. COVID got you sitting inside, why not sip one and free your mind?
Cheap thrills, popping pills, stat cash, spend it fast.
Listen to all of those lies as Arjun act like he's surprised. Good evening, everybody. It is lucky day, 11/11. It's quite a day. Make your wishes all day long. I'm making my wish right now, man. I don't know about you, but
I'm making the same wish as you. I'm making the same wish as you, and the audience will find out very, very shortly.
Oh, well, if they're watching YouTube, they see my screen. I got.
Oh,
tabs.
they already know.
I got tabs.
You got tabs open. I like it. Of course, we might as well, not keep the audience in suspense for too much longer. Today, probably in a matter of 17 minutes, it will be officially midnight on the East Coast. We're on Pacific time, so it's going to be very close to 9 p.m. And on that time, precisely at that time, the illustrious, the much coveted PlayStation 5 will actually be available for sale. And it's not just in one place. No. All the major retailers, whether it's Walmart, Amazon, Best Buy, GameStop, they're all going to have this, I guess, in stock for pre-order or for final order, whatever it's called, sharply at 9 p.m. Pacific time. And so Don, as you can probably tell from the YouTube feed, he has a bunch of tabs open, ready to go.
Yo, hey, and kid you not, man, I just loaded into the actual PlayStation.com website, trying to look at their consoles. They're experiencing a very high traffic. You'll be let into our store shortly. My estimated wait time is 10 minutes. So we're not alone in this one, man. I thought we'd be, like the young, hip guys that we once were, on top of things. But obviously, there's quite a few of us out there, I guess. Quite a few of us. What do you think the likelihood for that one is?
I think likelihood, to be honest with you, you're probably going to have a better time than me because I have estimated wait time 12 minutes. So chances are,
I'm saying it's like a 10% chance during this podcast we get one.
I'll be ecstatic if we got one, like collectively as
like even if you get one, or
because
I'd offer it for you, but I think it's limited to one per household anyway. So
is it? Oh, you know what I'll do though. If I'm lucky enough to get one for myself, I'll be looking for a second one. Like, don't even question. I'll be looking for a second one.
I will too, man. I will too, and we'll edit it out if it becomes a rat race between us.
We should feature that. If it becomes reality, that's what the audience wants to see, man.
Old men trying to get PS5s.
There you go. That's a life, my friend. But yeah, just looking at this, I mean, I'm just flashing back to all the times that I tried and failed to get into the sneaker game. I don't know about you, man, but I tried for a summer. For one summer.
There we go. Strong.
Good college effort there. I bought the What the LeBron 11s. You know what those are? Like what the LeBron is like this Nike does this thing with I think all of the basketball athletes, whether it's KD, LeBron, or maybe even Kobe back in the day. They do like a What the edition, which is just like a crazy, super kind of random colors and almost graffiti style look of the shoe. And it typically sells well. And I was lucky enough to get a What the LeBron, I think, probably, standard size 10 or 10 and a half. And I thought, easy sell for sure. I put it up on Craigslist as, my sneakerhead aficionado friends taught me to do. All the right comments like dead stock, all that stuff. And ultimately, I got a lot of feedback. I got maybe 6 or 7 different people interested.
There we go.
But they kept trying to lower the price by like $100 or $200 to the point where like I don't even make profit. And at that point, I was like, well, is it really worth the trouble? Is it really worth all the hassle here? And ultimately, I was like, you know what? Even the people who were offering more, they would never really agree on a place to meet up. It was just very sketchy. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to return it. So, it was within the 30-day window. I returned it, and I was sad about that because I thought I finally got a rare shoe, and I was gonna flip it. I did not. My first flip didn't actually happen until maybe a month or two later when I got these Kobe's. I forget which version or number it was,
Sure.
but it was like these very nice looking red colored Kobe's, and I made maybe just about 50 or $60 off the pair, which isn't much at all, quite frankly, for like a $200 shoe. But I felt prideful because it was my first sale, and the way I had to do it, I think I was already supposed to go to some sushi restaurant right after work,
Sure.
and the seller was like, "Oh, I work kind of in that area. We can meet up at the parking lot of the sushi restaurant." I'm like, "Oh, sure, that's fine. It works great. Kill two birds with one stone." And yeah, it was really cool. Smooth transaction, and that gave me some confidence. Like, you know what, I can do this. So then I bought my third pair, which was a couple of Jordan Retro Sixes, I think in Sky Blue edition or something. I think they retailed for about 200 or something. I forget exactly, but there were no takers. I thought this was a rare shoe, but I guess after looking at eBay, looking at Craigslist, there were so many listings, and I realized, oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
there was not a supply issue at all.
No, it wasn't dead stock like I described. It was like plenty. And so that was when I retired. I returned that shoe as well, and I retired with a net profit of about $65.
Hey,
So,
that's a video game. Well, it depends, but
I'm glad you brought that up because I'm sure you already know, PlayStation 5 and I think Xbox as well, they increased the regular price for a video game from 60, which we were all used to for like years, to 70.
Yep.
And in my opinion, it makes sense because look, even before it was 60, we paid 50, if I recall correctly.
Sure.
So 50, 60, 70, counting for inflation especially, I think that's totally fine. But I will say this. Typically in the past, whenever there's a game that I'm interested in, I usually don't buy it as soon as it comes out. I have the patience.
It's like a queue for you, right? It's the queue theory of VA.
It is. It's a much shorter queue though, much shorter queue because I'm super picky when it comes to the games I play.
Sure.
Especially nowadays because I don't have the time. Before I had more time.
Yep.
But now it's like, all right, if I am going to commit to something, it has to be really enjoyable, really worth it.
I think so. I mean, dude, for me though, when it comes to buying games, as long as I could find a couple hours of enjoyment in it, I'm all for it, right? It's like watching a movie, and maybe we differ in this aspect, where watching a movie can run you usually, at least $10, give or take. I would
probably
argue,
more.
Yeah,
probably
exactly.
more. Yeah.
I'd say like especially if you go out on a date or you take someone out, you're looking at
30, 40,
exactly, because you
50, 60.
You gotta get all the fixins, right?
You gotta get a lot of nachos and cheese.
Yeah, man, extra cheese, and that butter oil or butter flavored oil.
That's right.
Right. And that giant liter of soda, right?
Oh yeah, it adds up. It certainly adds up.
But yeah,
I understand what you're saying. You look at it as more of a entertainment, right?
Yep.
Just even if it's just a couple of hours, you can equate it to that of the movie theater experience. I get that. The thing with me is I could never do what you did with Red Dead Redemption 2.
Sure.
And what that basically means is I can never buy it, play it for maybe a few hours over a couple of days, and then just set it aside. Just like not play it forever because there's a whole story in there. There's so much that you can do.
Yeah.
And so for that's my take. Like if there is a game that I buy, I want to really experience it.
Oh, for
the
sure.
way the way the designers, the directors, like everyone intended for you to enjoy it.
Yeah. Find all the Easter eggs, get every nook and cranny that you can, and
see that's the problem. That's a problem, man, because quite frankly, I've done that before. And for Red Dead, I'm ashamed to admit this, but I did get 100% in that game.
Oh, hey, you're
flexing a little bit. Flexing a little bit.
I don't know if that's a good flex, man. That's
not a flex. That's the type of flex when you go for it, your muscle spasms. You're like,
spasms out. Flexes the other way, right?
Flexes the other way. You just get inversion.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
It?
Hold on, no, you got there was a big ass chime that went on for the PlayStation website when I got in. So yeah, that was
that's okay. That's probably something I have to look at when I do the editing later.
Yeah.
So you got it. What does it look like when you're in? Because I'm 2 minutes away.
I just clicked on it. I'm looking at the hardware section of it. Just gonna lit up the digital edition just to see what happens when it's time. Because I'm assuming they are going to release it on their end too, on the actual, direct from PlayStation.
I don't know.
Why
I've
not,
never
man?
like. Well,
Dude, look, think
yeah.
of it strictly from a business sense. Instead of cutting some of the profit you would get from using other avenues like Amazon, like Best Buy, like Target, why not recoup that shipping cost or whatever cost they allocate and that profit share to your own? Just absorb it all.
I hear you. By the way, real quick though, I've noticed that on GameStop they actually have a bundle edition, which is like,
I didn't even notice that.
yeah, I don't know if that's worth it for you, Don. Probably not,
Is that like
because
that
it's
$800 one with like an extra
yeah,
controller and shit?
yeah. It might
Nah,
not be. I don't think it's
no,
worth it. I don't
just
think
the
it's worth
basic stuff for now, and then I'm waiting for third party shit on the side.
it.
Right? All you need is a console. That's the main thing, and one remote.
Got you.
Everything else is gravy, or everything else is gravy. But
Sure. As I'm opening up even more tabs now.
So... We're getting close.
Oh, hey, I heard it. I heard the chime.
Right?
Your
That shit is
started.
loud.
Please confirm that you want to proceed. Yes, please. That was a great chime, though.
Oh,
like,
yeah. It was a strong chime.
Okay, so now it's redirecting me. Okay, early bird deal.
Sure.
With purchase of... those are cheap anyways. You can get them for like $10 off eBay. What do you think of this? What do you think of this VR stuff, man? Like, are you into that? I've never tried it.
I have. I got a headache with it.
Oh man.
But my buddy owns a VR shop over at the Garden Walk in Anaheim, and when you have the legitimate sort of setup where you have like a 10x10 space, and you have that setup where the cords are basically hanging from the ceilings and all that. It's pretty fun.
Cords hanging from the ceilings. Oh, so it's not in your way.
Yeah,
so
it's not in your way. It's like legitimately, yeah.
It's going all out, man.
Yeah, man.
It was funny. Like I think it was a couple years ago. I went to the Del Amo Mall in the Redondo Beach, Torrance area, and I noticed one of the retail spaces, it got converted into like this virtual reality gaming area where I guess you pay like maybe $10 or something, and you get to play one of those VR games with the headset and whatever else you need. And it was just kind of funny, just like standing there watching other people play, and some people were really into it, like rolling around and just ducking, It just seemed like they were having a full body experience there. I don't know. I think this is something that I probably won't get into. I think, knowing that I come from the 90s, as you can easily make a joke about, I'll probably stick to console as my final, gaming adventure. I don't know if I'll...
Well, and as someone that was a console gamer that kind of transitioned to becoming a PC gamer, it depends honestly on your mode or where you enjoy holding the controller the most. Are you a keyboard and mouse kind of person, or are you a controller kind of person?
Probably controller.
Right? And it all depends, right? Because if you're a customized kind of person where you like everything to be catered to you, and you like certain things to be set up or kind of macroed your way, PC is the way to go. Because you obviously have 50 keys to trigger, whereas with a controller you have the same way, but then you'd have to work with a setup of 10 keys with multiple iterations and combinations that can sometimes be a little bit too much than just pressing one key. Not to mention also the whole aiming factor of using a mouse, I think, is a little more precise than what you'd normally get out of a controller setup. So to each their own.
I think it ties back to how I was never really into the shooting game. I know
you love Red Dead. That's what.
But Red Dead's not a shooter, though.
It's a shooter.
It's not.
Guns.
It's really not.
They got guns.
They got guns.
Aim.
Look, Red Dead's a shooter just like GTA's a shooter.
Hardest game ever. I can't wait for GTA to come back on PS5.
Hey, I hope it's in London. I know it's not going to be, but imagine if there's like a GTA in London. Oh, I'd be playing that shit all day.
It's like your boy VJ.
Hell yeah!
Right? It's like
Johnson.
The mastermind running the whole syndicates.
Yo, I'd ride or die. I'd ride or die, Tory, man, all the way, Conservative Party. Let's go, let's go.
Well, I wonder. Wait, because the latest one was LA.
Yeah.
Right. What's left? Maybe San Francisco.
I heard it might be Miami
again, but they had Miami Vice.
They had LA and San Andreas.
I say switch it up.
Me too. I would rather have like a different country, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that'd be South America cool. Or some like fucking hood shit. That would be great.
Some favela in Brazil.
Brazil.
Oh,
Brazil.
I know.
All right, man. Hey,
okay, I'm refreshing.
You're refreshing already? I'm waiting until it hits 9, and then I'm gonna hit refresh.
Oh wow, ballsy.
Yeah, that's how I stand.
Am I missing any tabs? See, I got Best Buy, I got GameStop, I got Amazon, I got PlayStation Store, I got Walmart. Yeah. What do you got?
Yeah, so to read them off, I got Walmart, Target, Amazon, Best Buy, GameStop, PlayStation.
I need to look for okay, so I'm on the PlayStation page, but here we go.
So on the top, you click on hardware. And that's
there you go. Reading's important. I like it.
Okay. So as you can tell, I think you and I are getting almost in like the Christmas spirit here. It's like, ooh, it's coming! It's so close! I'm so excited! I'm so excited!
Man, I know, but this is not gonna work out well. I imagine. I feel like we're both gonna be disappointed.
Oh, we will.
I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic.
I mean, worst case scenario, I'm sure some will come up tomorrow. Specifically, Walmart. I think Walmart has said they're launching it at 9 a.m. our time, PST, and then they're doing it in 3-hour increments. What worries me is the longer it takes for you to order it, is that like the iteration by which they're going to deliver it. Right, because let's say 10,000 units get ordered right at midnight. Well, obviously, like the next 5,000, would they be expecting it to come like at that same time if it was a 24-hour difference, right? Because I think they had some production issues where they just couldn't pump it out as much as they anticipated. I think they actually kind of foresaw half of the demand of what it is. And that's thanks to COVID, and who knows what else went into it. But it's been a while since we've had these new iterations of consoles. I'm super stoked for it.
Yeah, no, I know they're pumping out as many as they can, just like the good people at Clorox and good people at Purell.
3, 2, 1, refresh. I'm hitting refresh. All right, Walmart got nothing. PlayStation got
riveting stuff for our podcast audience here. Riveting
Amazon got nothing.
Why did I refresh an empty tab?
Best
what the hell
Buy
am I doing?
Got Best Buy got nothing. GameStop nothing. PlayStation out of stock.
Wait, really? It says out of stock?
Yeah, it says out of stock now on it.
Oh, for me, it still says pre-order, but I can't click it.
Pre-order, but then under it. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Well, damn it. There wasn't even an option. Like, this was a ruse, Don. This was a ruse.
Hey, you never know. Maybe the guy is fucking trolling us right now. The one that's
keep refreshing, man. Keep refreshing,
man. I'm going through it all.
Yeah, they're basically weeding out the suckers. They're weeding out the suckers right now.
You got to stay strong.
Hell yeah. Strong day. Strong day. I like it.
Yeah. I might even stay up till midnight. Who knows?
I definitely will. I don't know about you, though. I don't know if you got the stamina. I don't know if you got the stamina.
I have the stamina to do it. I took a nap today, though. I had the day off. I was feeling really good.
And how was your Veterans Day, man?
Oh, it was great, dude. It was great. Can't complain. Got a lot of chores done. Picked up some gas.
Hey, there you go.
Gas as well as some propane gas. Because
Hank
doing
Hill.
Doing a little tasting this weekend.
I like it.
Gonna be working on a new menu for some people.
Okay.
Hopefully it could all work out. We've gone through one iteration. Gotta fine tune some things. specifically the burger. So I picked up about 30 pounds of meat at Costco.
Look at you, boy.
And, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and grind it out later. Literally grind it out.
I like it.
Yeah, man. That's just trying to figure out the right ratios as to what flavor we're trying to get. I was super close to buying a brisket, bro. I wanted to buy a brisket just for myself.
A whole thing, the whole brisket?
Yeah, man. Well, because you can't really get... I mean, you could buy, like, a section of a brisket, but there's a certain pride you get in chopping up, or rather, like, trimming or removing the fat off a brisket and, you know, seasoning it your way and having it deal with, like, basically, like, 3 feet of... Or not 3 feet, like 2 feet of meat, maybe? You know, 2 feet by maybe 10 inches. There's something great about that. At least to me. It weirds me out, but... Same time,
really?
When you cut into it and you see all that jiggly,
there you go.
You gotta. And I know I'm kind of just talking here, and you and I are both frantically.
Yes, I'm control tabbing, control Ring, like just repeatedly. And you know, I apologize for the podcast audience. They're probably not as enthused as we are about what we're doing right now.
Yeah,
but know that it's for a good cause. You know, the money's going to
future material.
There you go. It's an investment in the future of this podcast, so we can bring you, the audience, our beloved audience, our followers on Spotify, who have no idea what Don and I are looking at, and the 1 or 2 people that like to watch on YouTube, they know what's up.
They know.
You know. By the way, I didn't shout this out last time, but everybody should really go to VoyageLA and check out an article that's about none other than the D. They covered Bunso and did this kind of a interview style article up there with some pictures and everything, and of course links to all the food and the IG handle.
Yeah,
it's a great stuff. A lot of good stuff over there, and you know, well deserved. So shout out to the D, shout out to Don. It's a great accomplishment to be up on VoyageLA like that. So that's been cooking for a while, right? You've been kind of working with them, or you've been sitting on that story, I guess. They've been sitting on that story for some time, and they finally released it not too long ago.
Yeah, it's been maybe about 2 months in the works. Reached out, which is a relatively quick turnaround when it comes to media and all forms of, you know, distributing information. But the interview itself was probably finalized a couple weeks before release. And, you know, we went through back and forth, working really well. Shout out VoyageLA.
Sure.
Really good people, really fun people. Yeah, we made it happen. Super proud of it. So when you get the chance, VoyageLA, just look me up. Bunso, Bunso, or you can look me up by my name, Don. And you should be able to find me. I won't spell out my last name. Just go by Bunso. It should work out.
There you go. I mean, by now everyone knows you as one name only, the D. You know, I think.
The slippery D.
The slippery D. There you go. That's my nickname for you. I don't know why, but that's my nickname for you. I always envision Michael Scott's GIF after I say that. But by the way, this is not working out. It's been 5 minutes.
It's not. Yeah, we can move on. We can move on.
I've had no luck.
But yeah, man, dude. Hey, so I think some current events that's more relevant to what we talk about.
Great segue.
Another release date, right? We're not really looking forward to November 12th. It was a good shot that we gave it, right? We gave it. November 18th is the NBA draft, and you and I both know that, or rather, everyone knows that A doesn't really give 2 cents or 2 fucks about the draft this year. Or any draft, any year probably, except for when Lonzo came on board.
Even then, I wasn't too enthused. I was like, not really. But yeah, no, I mean, Don is absolutely right. I have done probably no research this year.
Sure.
And it's surprising because it's literally 7 days away. And I barely know who the top 3 are.
Oh, dude, come on, man. You really don't know?
Well, I've heard the names. I think Alonzo Ball, not Alonzo, excuse me, Freudian slip, my fault. Of course, I'm talking about the younger brother, LaMelo.
Yeah.
LaMelo Ball, he's in the mix. I know that the center, James Wiseman, he's also up there. And I think another name is Anthony Edwards.
There we
I
go.
believe he's a guard. So those are the names that I know. The rest I have no idea. No
Yeah,
idea.
no, absolutely right. And what's weird is it's hard. Unless they were playing international ball, there isn't much to really go off of. So the scouting reports, well, shout out to those guys. Hopefully they didn't get furloughed or anything. But the scouting reports are definitely going to be on the slimmer side this year, and it just it's kind of nice knowing that our Lakers don't have to worry about any of this because I think that for this year the draft class is relatively thin in prospects. It's all one of those low floor, really great potential kind of players, which you could say about anyone, honestly. And then they're just comparing, all right, do you want a big or a guard at 1 and 2? What's the better one? And there's a lot of talk saying where, in today's day and age, you don't typically want to build a team around a young big. You're probably better off going with a guard that could shoot. And unfortunately, the top three that the A mentioned, quite frankly, can't shoot as well as you'd probably hope for those entering the NBA in today's day and age. So I guess, man, what I want to ask you, what would you draft first? Like, if you had to build your team, would you be guard forward or guard heavy, forward heavy, or
Well,
aim for
see,
a big?
for this kind of a question, you kind of have to know uh, what's the prerequisite. Like, am
Well, I would
I
say like you're a new franchise, and you just build around this guy. For the next 5 years, you're working with the likes of bench players that may be role players in a different team. Let's say that without calling out
yeah,
names.
sure.
So you're looking for that one guy that you attach a veteran to,
Yeah.
and hope that in 3 to 4 years this person will blossom, right? Similar to how Trae Young did, similar to how Luka is doing right now.
I understand. I understand. Um, Without knowing a whole lot about all these players,
Mm-hmm.
I this may not surprise you, but I tend to lean toward a more old school way of the game.
Oh yeah, like '90s,
Uh,
right? '90s style kind of basketball.
yeah, actually, yeah, 90s style. Because the way I look at it, I think bigs who are dominant are very rare, and it's more so now in today's NBA.
Sure.
Um, like if you look at a guy like DeAndre Ayton, I don't think he would be that special or that coveted 20 years ago because I think there'd be more big men around that you can pick from. But now, with the NBA being so guard heavy, like every team has a good guard, but not every team has a good big. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
look at the Rockets. Rockets gave up their only big man, and now they now they play PJ Tucker at the five. God bless his soul, right? And so for me, my take is, if this James Wiseman guy is a center, and I don't know what's his specialty, but hey, if he can get some boards, if he can shoot a high percentage, maybe shoot some free throws and block some shots, you're on my team. So I'm gonna go with him.
Sure. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. And I guess, would you anticipate that style of play to come back? Because, as in other things in life, as in many other things in life, things tend to be cyclical in nature. Do you think that'll happen with basketball when the three ball is kind of, I guess, adjusted, right? Let's say the range is increased, right, instead, or if the court is somehow manipulated to um, decrease the effectiveness of the three. Like, what do you think it's going to take to get big men to be relevant again?
Well, so I think those two things aren't exactly mutually exclusive. I think big men are already very relevant again, but with the exception that they can now shoot threes.
Sure.
You look at Jokic, you look at Karl Anthony Towns, you look at, even DeAndre Ayton, he can shoot a little bit too. Like even Giannis now, if you count him as a big, being 6'10", 6'11", he might as well be.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these guys are handling the rock, which is new for them. A lot of these guys are shooting from deeper, in the court, which is new for them as well. And they're doing quite a good job. And rival teams, are always focusing on that type of player. Like, okay, let's game plan around the Karl-Anthony Towns. Let's try to stop him. Let's try to stop Giannis or stop Jokic. And I think big men are very much dominant, but the perception of the big man is what has changed. And if your question really at the root of it is whether that old school big man, that playing style will return, my answer is simply no, because it's become obsolete. I think with teams now encouraging their big men to shoot threes, being a stretch four is not frowned upon like it used to be, 15, 20 years ago.
Sure.
It's not like, if you happen to be a player like Andrea Bargnani, you're going to be shunned. No, I think you become celebrated. You become a pivotal part of a team's offense. So to answer your question in one way, no, that specific style won't be coming back, but you do have exceptions to every rule, to every trend. And you can probably think of a player who we both like, who's on the cover of the next gen NBA 2K21, of course, that is Zion Williamson, who, in my opinion, is not a shooter. You can say, oh, but look at his first game, his debut. He made 4 threes in the second half, and we were both watching. Yeah, I get that, but that's a fluke. Because you look at the rest of the season, he was like 0 for 4, 0 for 8, whatever. I like to see exceptions like that, though. I like to see really dominant inside players just pop up every now and then. Whether or not that's going to be a new trend, that remains to be seen. But personally, I feel like threes are here to stay. It makes the game more fluid. It raises the point totals, which I think both fans in attendance and bettors like us, gamblers like us, both enjoy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Don't bucket me into that. I'm not as much.
Oh, that's true.
Of
That's
a gambler.
true.
I would
That's
say
true.
anything. It's
you
that spurred me on to do that.
I would say that is true. I think over the past few months, if not the whole year, I think we've been betting on almost anything and everything. And
oh yeah, I would say it's 75% you at least.
Well, yes, but at times it is like 100% you, and it's on things that I don't even follow.
It's like those things where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pick up a little bit here. Let's see if he's gonna actually fall for it or what's gonna happen.
And I do.
Oh yeah, like, UFC fight. Yeah, go ahead, pick. Okay.
I mean, it's almost like you know how like when you're not really able to do your job or function, like you're incapacitated. I think that's the right
Straight
word.
Up like autopilot. Like...
yeah, it's like, okay, let's play, let's go. And Don just took advantage, man. It's like I'm in my comatose state, and he's like, yeah, can you sign this? Can I use your hand to sign this document? Transferring power of attorney? Yeah, there you go.
You gotta do it sometimes, all right? Let that be a lesson to everyone.
Yeah.
In order to place a bet with the A, what you gotta do is you gotta hit him around 10, 11 in the morning, right when he's starting work, but he's not really in the flux of it all, not really in the flow of it, trying to still figure out, all right, am I going to do this today, when he's going through those thoughts, you fill that mind with nonsense first off, just nonsense, and then you hit him with the question, you hit him with the, hey, you want to bet this weekend? I got this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, what do you think? Right, and don't even give them the option of the numbers when it comes to the dollar.
Yeah, don't make it complicated. Just put it out there, and I'll sign off.
When he says yeah, then you just say bet, and you're good to go. Yeah. You see that check mark, or you see that little picture right next to it saying "seen"? You know you're good.
There you go. It
is. And then you just cruise into the weekend, knowing you could buy a bottle off of A. Because of that.
There you go.
It's nice.
But I will say though, most recent
sure.
Might work out in your favor, D. Didn't quite work out in your favor.
Well, you know what? Let's go through the specifics so I could protect my reputation a little bit about this.
Sure.
What did we exactly bet on?
So we were betting on the over/under for both the popular vote for the presidential election.
Yeah.
And the electoral college count for Biden. So we were both betting that Biden would win. I don't know why Don was betting this, but we were both betting that
I took the over.
I think Don was confused. He didn't know what over under meant. He thought over meant like, yeah, Trump all the way. But no, in any case, so we both figured that Biden would win. And so really it was a question of, all right, how much is he going to win by? And so I felt like, I wanted to be nice. I knew that Biden would win probably by a good amount. And I wanted Don to pick first. But I don't remember, Don. Did you pass that opportunity?
I passed it. He hit me around that time frame, which I will not discuss what time frame that is. Where I was actually busy, and I'm like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. Like, I saw the numbers. First of all, you gotta let them know what was the over, or what was the base percentage.
Yeah.
Right.
So the line for the popular vote I remember was like 53%. It's like 53 something. Yeah. And I think the electoral college was like something fictitiously high, like 320. Yeah. And so I did a little bit of research. I didn't tell the dude about this, but I did a little bit of research. I went on Wikipedia, and I just cycled back every 4 years to see what the differential was. And it was like super rare for the popular vote to be that high in the first place. I'm like, oh yeah, for sure. I'm taking the under for sure. Electoral college, though, it could go that high depending on how things shake out.
Sure.
And I think right now, depending on which source you look at, if you just, like, for instance, look at the AP results, which are also on Google, it says Biden already has 290. But as you know, North Carolina with 15 and Georgia aren't officially counted toward either candidate. But that could be an easy 31, right?
Ooh. So you're saying there's still a chance?
Not well. Oh, actually, let me see that. I forget exactly what your line was.
It was fucking high. That's what it was.
I feel like it was higher than 321, which is sad. Which is ridiculous. Like sad.
Yeah, and when I saw this, I'm like, all right, because the likelihood of that happening was very slim. Given that this year there was a higher voter turnout than previous years. I was thinking, okay, maybe there's like a 10% chance that the over will be hit. But across the analytics, there was almost no way it was going to happen. But, so, every now and then, again, lesson number 2 with betting with A, you got to give him a couple wins here and there. Give him a couple wins. Let him feel comfortable. And then, little does he know, you got him in the pocket already. He's ready to be hit with another one. Like, for example, hey, there's a UFC fight this weekend, right?
Wait, who's playing?
I have no idea. I just kind of brought it up. But let's look it up. Let's see.
Briefly. Let's not make this a whole UFC segment. But yeah, briefly.
UFC this weekend.
By the way, this has a real prequel feel to it. You know what I mean? This has a real prequel podcast feel.
It does. It feels good though, doesn't it?
It's a classic one. I like it.
There is. Well, we'll look at this afterwards.
Yeah, no worries. But okay, let's say. There you go. Let's say. Oh wow, they're stronger. Yeah, stronger for the microphone. I appreciate
it. Hey, dude. Hey, we've been having fucking hot pot for the past 4 days.
4 days straight.
It's been fantastic, man.
What do you put in the hot pot? Like all different kinds of meats and veggies?
Yeah. All different kinds of meats and veggies. So I've been pretty good in regards to cutting carbs where I don't need it, right? Because coming from Asian background, we typically have rice, right? Rice with everything. It kind of spreads out the flavor, and it's a good filler, right? Similar to potatoes for some European countries, or corn for some, South American.
No.
Yeah.
No. Nobody uses corn,
bro,
in the same way that people use rice.
No, look at Mexico with tacos.
Mexican people love rice and beans.
Yes, but I'm saying corn is their staple.
No, it's not.
It is.
Corn is not a staple.
Bet.
How are you defining? Okay, calm your tits.
Hey, staple foods across the world. Let's see. Let's Google this shit. Maize, which is corn. All right. National Geographic. All right. This is one up from your Oxford Academy. Where's that map? Where's that interactive map? This is bullshit. I'm looking for it. All right, Maize production. Well, production's a little different though.
We're not looking at corn production. No. I guess the question that I'm really asking you is, if you were to define one particular food as a staple food for a country, are you saying that for Mexico it would be corn?
Yeah.
How staple do you prove that?
Of How Mexico. Do you prove that? All right, here, easy. Google staple food of Mexico. What does it say? Go ahead and read it out.
I'm looking for an alternate source. Hold on.
Just Google, bro.
No, I am Googling, but I'm looking for alternative facts right now. Okay, see, here's
I've been watching Taco Chronicles, man, and I've been watching a lot of Chef's Table. You gotta get me, man. When it comes to food.
Hey, how about this? How about this? Truth. Okay, if you search staple food of Mexican cuisine.
Okay.
And skip the first one. If you go to people also ask, is rice a staple food in Mexico?
Sure.
A rice dish is an important part of most Mexican main meals.
Wait, what's the website? What's the website?
Oh, you want the website? Oh, it's actually www.mexconnect.com. Mexconnect.com.
Okay,
yes, very notable.
Sounds like an American-made website.
Likely because they're connecting to the Mex.
I'm just, all right, let's agree to disagree. But I'm a little more right than you because the first thing in Google says staple food of Mexico, maize. Can you give me that at least? Give me that at least.
I'll give you that corn is very important.
God damn it, eh?
I'll give you that it's very important. But I just think, okay, my perspective is also this. Like, when I think of Mexican food, right?
Yeah.
I don't immediately think of corn.
Yeah.
Well, because I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we're a little, or the common populace here in the States is that when you think of Mexican food, there's always an option of a different tortilla. Because when we think of Mexican, of Mexican food, we commonly think of, tacos, burritos, and in some cases, carne asada fries, which is a bastardization of Mexican food that is delicious. But if you were to go to Mexico and visit them, the tortilla is prevalent everywhere, where it's made from corn. All kinds of corn. We're not just thinking the typical yellow corn tortilla. We're talking about the blues, the reds, the browns, the hard to actually grow from the ground kind of corn that is well before that of, pesticides and other inorganic compounds that we are guilty of doing here in the States in order to increase harvests. So like the Aztecs before, they're trying to revitalize that corn that they had, and they're realizing it's so nutritious in its nutrient profile, that it makes our corn laughable because it's pretty much just starch and crap that the body has problems digesting, whereas these other heirloom varieties of corn are just pretty much everything you would need to sustain life. That's why a lot of the gods in South America, specifically in Mexico, kind of cater to corn when it comes to all things. So, I'm pretty sure, all the things I said about corn are legit, especially it being the staple. But, I'll leave it to the Oxford to get back to us on this one. We'll shoot them an email. Hopefully they get back to us and they're back in school. I don't know.
The A is not afraid to admit when he's wrong.
And, yeah, you are.
and usually the A is. But today he's not afraid to admit when he's wrong. And today the A will issue a public apology to the D because he is actually 100% correct. Maize. Maize. Or better known as corn in the States side, is very, very much the staple of Mexico. And there's no doubt about that. So, points for the D.
There we go. Hell yeah. I should have bet on it, man. We should have put a dollar amount on it. It would have been public. Oh, man. Damn. See, lesson number 3. Right. Lesson number 3 for everybody. Betting with the A. Got to do it quick. You gotta do it quick.
Try though. You were like, bet. I heard you.
Yeah, but then we started Googling already, and at that point,
I
you
was
were
feverishly
Googling. Yeah,
I was failing. I was like, damn it! It says Maize. It's a story. Damn it! I gotta find something else. Where does Trump go to get his votes? Where does Trump go to find his information? So obviously, with the whole alternative facts and everything, those jokes, we haven't touched on this too much during this podcast, but what is Trump doing? That's my question.
He's pissing off a lot more people right now, man. I think him and his team of advisors, whoever they may be, are basically filing suit in like multiple states.
Yeah, but like, why? Like,
well, they're trying to say that some votes were improperly counted, and some people got double ballots, so 2 votes. Some weren't being counted. Some were being thrown away. The people actually running the voting centers weren't legitimate. Stuff like that. Which is hard to believe. I get it. But
yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, I could see where he's coming from. But would it make a big difference? He's kind of at that point where it could, if he hits the right states, right? Because
I mean, the way I look at it, though, Don, this view that Trump and his team has is very ignorant of the simple fact that why are you only focusing on these ballots going toward Biden, right? Why aren't you focusing on the ballots that are going toward you that should also be discredited? Right?
Yeah, no, and I think it's twofold. I think it's Trump's way of, at the same time, denouncing Biden, putting a bad light on him. Because when they go and do these revotes of whatever sort, they're obviously going to also capture or count red side votes. So I think it's his way of still playing into the rhetoric of how Biden's unfit for presidency compared to him, and yada 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 yada. He's still Sleepy Joe, right?
See, this is what bothers me though. If Trump does acknowledge, and I think he did before, that if it is a fair election, quote unquote fair election, he will, deal with that. Like, he will handle that gracefully. That's, I think, what he said effectively before.
Sure.
But now he's kind of removing that possibility, right? He's saying that this is not fair, and there is no way that there will be a peaceful transition. There will be no transition. I will retain power. Yeah. That's essentially what he's saying.
Oh, yeah. It's like the A when the truth comes out, and he's like, no, I don't believe in that. Let me find a way. Let me find a source that'll agree with me, or rather, disagree with the truth, and let's hype that up. That's the approach to take it. So your boy, you guys have similar tactics.
Not my boy, but the difference is I lasted here for 6 minutes before I gave up and apologized. Don's, not Don. Actually, excuse me, a slight Freudian slip, but I'm not entirely incorrect. The Donald has for quite some time. I mean, November 3rd was more than a week ago, and he hasn't let up. If you look at his Twitter feed, he keeps saying we will win, and he keeps retweeting.
And for his supporters, it's probably a good thing to see. It shows that he doesn't want to give up.
But it's not, though, Don. I think
I get where you're coming from. I agree with you. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate, my man.
I understand, but I want to bring up another point here. I think Trump, by digging into his heels and really standing his ground on this one, I think what he's doing is casting this doubt, a huge doubt over our entire democratic system, over the ballot box, essentially. And you probably know from firsthand experience, I know as well, there's a lot of people out there who just don't trust the voting process in general.
Oh, yeah.
For multiple reasons. Mm-hmm. It's not a monolithic thing, but for multiple reasons, they don't support this whole electoral college and everything that it constitutes. If Trump is saying this is rigged, we can't trust the election, we can't trust the votes, what makes you think that this will not have a long-term impact? I think this will disenfranchise many, many potential voters for years to come. And they'll always look back at this controversial, disputed, contested election as a reminder that, yeah, there are problems with this system. It's not worth it. It's not worth voting. When really they should be thinking the exact opposite, that we do have a good system, and
Mm-hmm.
it's even better if everyone participates.
Yeah.
The whole idea is to get everyone involved. But that's what I'm worried about more than anything. I think this will subside. As you said, Donald Trump is looking for a way to kind of weasel his way out of this, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
He will fail ultimately, and this will pass. America will move on. Biden will be the president. But a lot of Trump supporters will remember this time, and they'll think, next time, maybe we just won't vote. Maybe even people who didn't vote this time at all. They were just not happy with either candidate. They're not going to vote next time either. Despite all the campaigns from LeBron James and all the other celebrities out there, I think Trump's staunch stance here is going to have the worst impact in America. That's just my 2 cents.
And it
I
could.
think
It could. I think that's definitely a worst case scenario. I think that if anything, it's going to embolden people for future elections to really get out there and vote, especially if you have people in media saying, hey, if there's enough votes, it doesn't matter if not all of them were captured because we already know the totals, the way it all works mathematically. We just have to reach this amount of counted votes and we get that state or something of that sort or something of that magnitude. But we'll see in 4 years, or rather we'll see in about 3. And in actuality, we'll see in about 1 month what this all becomes.
Sure thing. And a lot of times, we wish we had some kind of a time travel machine to skip ahead and figure out what may be happening in the future.
Ooh.
But you don't even need a machine, to be honest with you, Don. You can just go to Funimation.com. You can go to Hulu and watch one of the best animes ever.
Oh my
And
God.
of course, I'm talking about none other than Cowboy Bebop. And Don, I think you know what to do at this moment.
Yes, sir. Queuing up. 3, 2, 1.
Are we doomed to a cold and heartless future in which computer says yes or computer says no, with the grim finality of an emperor in the arena?
Big shot auditions coming up. I'm feeling it, man. I think episode 2 of Cowboy Bebop is what we're going to be talking about today as we close up. It still gets me, man. The audio in all these episodes that we've watched, all 2 of them, have been amazing. Even, especially when they do their action scenes and they have fantastic music background. It really gets me going, and it captures the essence of this whole space cowboy feel that I wasn't expecting. I don't know. What was your take on that, man?
So I thought session 2, called Stray Dog Strut, was great. Everything that I liked about the first episode, where you very much quickly get into the world of Cowboy Bebop. You see that it's a couple of bounty hunters just roaming the galaxy, going from planet to planet, finding a mark, finding a target, and figuring out the best way to capture this person. Maybe you have to do some detective work on the side, talk to other people, and the formula is more or less repeated in episode 2, but with a very interesting exception. And I don't want to get into the whole plot again like I did for episode 1, but I will say we have a new addition to the crew, and it is none other than the dog, a very, very intelligent dog, I might say. And I will set this up a little bit. So part of the episode is essentially about capturing this target that stole an experimental corgi, kind of like a Welsh corgi, I suppose, that was engineered in a lab to be super, super smart. We don't know fully what it's capable of, but you can tell that it can do things that normal dogs can't. It's very perceptive. It's very receptive to what humans are doing around it, and can even, control certain things, right, with its paws. And I thought it was interesting how the dog was supposed to be like a prized possession that this this culprit stole from this lab, and ultimately it came down to Spike himself. Spike had to make a very, very tough decision. And I think you know what I'm talking about here. At the very end of the episode, he had to decide what he valued more in a very high pressure instance. Did he value the dog's life more, or did he value the $10 million whatever bounty that was for the criminal? And he ultimately chose the dog.
Mm-hmm. Without even knowing it was the kind of dog it was.
Exactly. And what do you think that says about his character, man? What do you think that says about Spike?
It speaks levels to me, man, because we could go into it a little bit later. What we could extrapolate a bit out of it, or how we could grow from this episode. But he even says he doesn't like dogs throughout the episode. Why the fuck is it a dog? What the hell's going on? When he first saw the dog and was like, "This is a joke. Why would I even get this? It's worth what was it, like 200 something instead of the millions it was supposed to be." When they
like something real cheap, $200, whatever. Yeah.
It tells me that if we take it literally, Spike doesn't care too much about money. He values life more than anything. He probably doesn't enjoy what he does. Right? He's more about the thrill, not the end of the thrill. And even if he hates something, he values the essence of what life is. And he's willing to forego a very rich paycheck in order to protect that purity or that innocence of what a dog can bring.
I think in his heart of hearts, as you like to say, what you're saying is true. I think he does have this, deep appreciation for life. But in the exterior, and I think even in his day-to-day, when his mind is always processing, he actually wants to be a legit bounty hunter that makes money off of these hits.
Sure.
He's starving. Like you heard it in the first episode with the bell peppers and beef. Even in the second episode, he's always hungry. He's always starving because they're that desperate for a hit. They're that desperate for money. And I think that is the lifestyle that he embraced, to be perfectly honest. I think he wants to be kind of a hardened bounty hunter. But you know how whenever we have our backs up against the wall, whenever we're really confronted in a situation, it reveals our true nature. It reveals our true character.
Sure.
So we're learning that when push comes to shove, that's when we see the real Spike.
Ooh.
And the real Spike may actually not be as sharp as we think he might be. He may be more soft. He may be a soft guy. He may have a soft spot for damsels in distress, as we found out in episode 1. He may have a soft spot for dogs. Maybe there's some childhood connection that we'll figure out later. I'm just guessing.
Soft spot for antiques, right? When he visited the pawn shop.
He does, yeah. Right? Yeah, actually that was interesting. He found this pair of nunchucks, I think that's what you call them. Yeah. And he said, "Oh, these are from the 30s, right? Like something like about Bruce Lee or Enter the Dragon or whatever." And the pawn shop owner was like, yeah, good eye. And that that was it served two purposes, right? By Spike kind of acknowledging that he understands how valuable this is. I think he's giving some love, you could say, to the pawn shop owner, like, "Hey, I see you got good stuff. I respect this." And then the pawn shop owner kind of throws Spike a bone, like, "All right, I got you. You seem like you know the way of the world. You've been around the block a little bit. I'll tell you this information so you can, look into this dog situation." Do you get the feeling that Spike does all the groundwork while Jet kind of, is the overseer? He kind of, tells Spike, "Hey, go do this, go do that, and I'll take you there, and then you got to take your little ship and finish the mission." Yep. You kind of see.
Yep, it's like sort of like a commander and boots on the ground sort of thing. You got a fighter in Spike, a young up-and-comer who's probably still learning the ways, and a guy who's, aged, probably battle-hardened, given his physique and his, ambiance and how he holds himself in Jet. Yeah, no, it's totally that. There's the planner and an action taker. So I'm hoping that's what it is. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple episodes or for the rest of the series when they implement this third character into the crew. And what role this particular dog will play, if any. It may just be comedic relief for all we know. But it's fantastic to know that the dog is enjoying space. Never thought that would happen.
And I also got to say, it's very common for any of these space dramas to have a robot, right?
Sure.
Like you look at Star Wars, that's the best example I can think of.
Sure.
There's always like a R2-D2 or a BB-8 in the newer saga. And it makes sense, right? Futuristic, you're in space, naturally the next, best friend to man after a pet would be a robot. I really like and appreciated that Cowboy Bebop didn't exactly go down that route. They decided to have a very random choice, a Welsh Corgi out of all possible dogs, and make that part of the crew. And of course, as Don said, we don't know exactly to what extent this dog will be, working with the crew. Maybe he is just comedic relief. I don't know. But given the fact that he's a very intelligent dog, I can't help but imagine that he's going to play a pivotal role. I don't know how they'll use him. I don't know if they'll even find out. You know what I mean? It might be one of those things where, like, in Family Guy, the audience knows that Stewie can talk, but the family is somehow not aware of it, except for the dog, right? The dog knows. It might be one of those things like the audience knows, oh yeah, the dog is actually doing all these things behind the scenes, but Spike and Jet will be completely oblivious to it. I like it, though. I think what we're noticing is, episode by episode, we're kind of building a seemingly ragtag group of space cowboys, right? And who knows, maybe there may be more people coming up in the future episodes. I've only seen the first two, and Don, I know you've only seen the first two. But let me ask you this. What do you think would help this group? Given that they have a dog now, given that they have a planner and an attacker, or whatever you said, planner and boots on the ground.
Sure.
What do you think they need to kind of round off their crew?
Well, if they could utilize the dog's information, according to what we know, it's supposed to be a super dog, more or less, or a super brain. I don't think they need much. Maybe another one to keep them company, a little comedic relief, maybe a bard of some sort just to piss off Spike every now and then, maybe if they get like a really good payout, add on a cook for the ship, so that way you got someone that could fill that profile.
A little bit of Bunso taking the voyage to the Bebop.
I'm just saying, hey, I can travel back in time. Hey, Netflix, if you're still filming, dude, hey, you want to add on a new character? I'm just saying, I'm ready. Don't even have to pay me. Don't even have to pay me. Just feature me.
Yeah, John Cho could easily have a brother or something, some kind of.
We'll make it happen. We'll make
little cousin,
little fat cousin. We'll make it happen.
You're probably bigger than him, though, height-wise, too.
We'll make it work.
I feel you. But so, yeah, I think I'm glad you brought up the music earlier in the synopsis. I always love the music, man, and I think they had a different song in this episode. It was by a Japanese group, of course. I can't quite remember the lyrics, but it just fit well with the frenetic scene. All the dogs like rushing across the street, and then you have the criminal kind of catching wind of his prized possession, fleeing, and Spike running into him. And that bridge scene, wasn't that bridge scene orchestrated perfectly? Like the dog was being chased by the criminal. I think his name was. Gosh, what's the bad guy's name this time? Do you remember?
I don't remember, but it was some racist name.
It was. I think the first one was racist too, like Asimov, Solin's son, and
they're definitely stereotypical names.
I think so. To be fair, though, I think this guy in this episode, he had facial, not transplant, but he reconstructed his face, basically plastic surgery. He had plastic surgery to change up his look as he was fleeing the cops and everybody else who was going after him. But just like how in the first episode, I talked about that scene where Spike was chasing the villain in his red cruiser, going into space and being confronted by that gateway with all the police officers in front of it. How poetic that was, with the music reaching a crescendo as you went into space. Similarly, in this frenetic scene with the music pumping and everything, the dog leading the criminal toward this bridge, and pretty much the dog is there sitting in the middle of the bridge in between Spike and the criminal, just going at it. I thought that was orchestrated so well. And again, to me, that was poetry in motion. The fact that they could really set up that scene and get you to be fully immersed into it. It's hard to believe that this anime is from 1998, but it is doing wonders in 2020. So far, 2 episodes in, I'm loving it. I'm thinking it's great. And I'm going to try, no promises, but I'm going to try to pick up the pace a little bit. Don, how about you? Are you loving it so far after first 2 episodes?
I'm loving it. Yeah, I think we could up it maybe next episode that we record to maybe 2 episodes of Cowboy.
No promises there. No promises there. But at the very minimum, 1. At the very minimum, 1.
But that's not hard.
Well, for some of us who don't have that much time during the workday.
Hey, whoa! I'm just throwing it out there. All right.
But no, of course, I will definitely try to get into this a little bit more, because there's 26 episodes total, I think, for the entire show.
Sure.
And I'm pretty sure this is not going to end up like Art of War, where after 8 chapters out of 200 plus, we just like say, you know what? Let's not even bring it up. But I think we will we will finish this one. But yeah, I'm pumped. I think there may be. Do you actually like watch the whole episode and the end part where it says, coming up next time,
nope.
or sneak preview? Oh, you don't watch that part, huh?
No, I ended on "See You Later, Cowboy" or something like that. See ya,
okay.
Space Cowboy.
I'll do that from now on. Too.
Because I don't want any cliffhangers, man. I want to know what happens.
Okay,
to,
I feel you.
Not have to deal with the suspense. I like to keep it as is.
I got you. And we will definitely keep it as is for all the fans in the audience. We're talking about our YouTube followers, our Spotify followers, everybody else on Overcast, and all the other names of the platforms that I can't even think of right now. Google Podcasts, including Apple Music, perhaps as well. Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoy the journey. And until next time, see you, Space Cowboy.
Remember, it's corn for Mexico. Corn.
Yeah. Okay.
Corn.
All right.
Corn.
Got it. All right. You won this time. All right.
Corn.